Hey everybody, I am Joe Tobias, a Washington State elopement photographer based in Seattle, and today I want to talk about buying stuff. Well, actually I hope that this video helps you not buy stuff, but with that, I have the 3 questions that I ask myself whenever I'm buying new gear for photography. I try to ask myself these 3 questions to help me decide whether this is a good purchase or not. I get messages all the time from people saying oh, I really want to get into photography. What's the best camera I should buy? And my honest answer is, don't buy one. If you're not already into photography, buying a new camera is a really quick way to have this expensive toy that's going to sit on your shelf because you're not already into it. In the same way as you shouldn't go buy a really expensive mountain bike if you've never been mountain biking. It goes across the board. Don't go buy the best of something if you've never done it before, if you don't know you actually like it. And so with that, the way I like to phrase this question is, does this purchase solve a specific problem that I already have? In that, am I doing something that makes sense? That this is a next step. This is a thing I'm already doing. This is a problem I already have, that I can't do this, that I need to solve, that I need to do whatever. And so I'm already doing the thing and trying to do it and failing it and not doing it quite as well as I wish I could. And so with that guidance of, is this solving a problem I already have, rather than, is this a purchase that's going to try to get me into something I'm not into already? Now, that's not to say that there aren't things you should buy when you are trying to experiment with something new or do whatever, but usually that kind of experimentation is that incremental change, is that little bit of a shift that comes when you're already into something, you're already doing it, it's already a problem, you're just getting a little bit better. But just coming straight in out of the blue usually doesn't work super well. Years ago, Eric and I bought cross-country skis because we thought we were going to get really into it. I like to run, she'd grown up cross-country skiing, so we thought it was going to be this really awesome thing for us to be able to do together. And honestly, we've used them 4 times in almost a decade. Now, I would say over that time, those 4 uses have probably almost balanced out what it would have costed to rent them. But we've stored them. We've moved them at least 3 times. We've had to deal with them. And just there's that constant stress in my mind. Every time I go into my garage, I look at those skis and think, oh, shoot, I should cross-country ski a lot more. And that's what I'm hoping to help you avoid. Is that not to say that sometimes it is more expensive to rent. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily make the financial sense as it would to just buy something up front. But if you're not into it already, it is almost always worth spending that extra money to make sure that this is a thing for you. This is a thing you like, this is a thing you have bandwidth for, and the thing you're excited about before you make the purchase. And in that, is this purchase solving a specific problem you already have? So this is just that. It's a simple question, especially, and this is definitely not something that applies to hobby stuff. So the cross-country ski example doesn't work. But when I'm buying gear for my photography business, does this help me make money? Does this make me do something better? Does this make something higher quality? Does this help me do something faster? Does this open up a creative tool that I couldn't have done otherwise? Is this a thing that clients are already asking for, and I will be able to myself to easily leverage myself into that space? And the better I can say yes, specifically, I know that I can charge more because of this. I know that I can do this thing. I know that buying this light modifier means that I'll be able to go and start doing portrait headshots, and I want to do that. That really opens that door for you and saying that this isn't just a toy, but this is a thing that's actually going to make me more money. Is this going to be the tool I need so all the clients out there are going to be doing that just take my money meme to me? But with that, I do have one little caveat, and that is the time is money saying, which we've all heard a million times in our life. And I just want to say that yes, usually it is, but sometimes time is also free. And so think through is this thing actually going to make me more money or make me more efficient? Because thinking through let's say you're buying a new computer, is that going to help you render faster? Is that going to help you edit faster? Is that going to help you do those things? Now, is that going to make you so much faster that you're going to be able to get more work done by the thing? If that's going to make you so much faster that you're going to be able to spend considerable more time hanging out with your family by the thing. But if you're out there right now and you're not currently frustrated by your problems, if you're not currently sitting there slamming your head on your keyboard all the time because Lightroom crashed again, then is it really actually saving you? It might maybe save you a couple minutes. It might be saving you time, but is it time that you're able to leverage into something better, or is it just going to save you a couple extra minutes or make the computer render faster in the background or something like that? So just think through those and say that, like, time is usually money, but it isn't always money, and sometimes it's free time. And is that how to balance those kind of things? That's a question only you can answer. How often have you gone out and bought that new thing and just bought the cheapo version just because you were starting out, and it was that $30 light modifier, and right away after using it you realized, oh, I can see why this is so cheap, and before too long it broke, before too long you outgrew it, before too long it wasn't good enough for what you were trying to do, and quickly you were out $30 and that thing was either practically free and you couldn't sell it on Craigslist, or was in a landfill. And so with that, how can you make sure you're only buying this thing once? If you've already answered the previous two criterias, is it actually a way that you can make sure that you're only going to buy good stuff that's going to last? With that, it is definitely more expensive to rent, but in a lot of ways, that $30 that you were going to buy the cheapo thing that's going to break is kind of like a rental. It's kind of like you're renting the cheap thing and then going to spend the money on the good thing down the road, when you could just rent for probably about the same price, rent the good thing up front, see if you like it, see how it works, see if it's worth it, and then use that to leverage it into getting the good. So what if you rented first? What if you, instead of spending that money on that cheap thing, spent that money on a good tool? So let's take the lighting setup I was talking about before. You can buy like a pro photo setup, which is like the top of the line. It's going to cost you a couple $1,000s for the full setup. Or you can buy like the cheapo Amazon knockoff for 1/10 of the price. Now, that's definitely cheaper, and in a lot of ways, that's kind of the rental. And some of those cheap versions are great and are worth it. And I'm not here to just solely rag on those cheap things. But if you're going to be able to say, like, how I'm going to only buy this thing once, is that cheaper one going to last? And if not, maybe buying the good thing up front is what's better. And so how do I span that gap? And that is going to be rentals. And so by renting, you're going to get to try the tools. And usually you're going to try the best tools, because rental shops don't usually they don't rent crappy tools, because crappy stuff breaks, crappy stuff can't be repaired, and then it's like they don't want to be a situation where that cheap tool is broken when a client has it out there, and they can only really rely on the best. And so in that, if you're out there and you're able to use that same money you were going to spend on buying the cheapo version, maybe renting that once or twice should help you get to know the tool, make sure you like it, make sure you're ready for it, and then if you're doing it correctly, hopefully you're leveraging that into being able to save for the good tool down the road. And with that, just to say, like, in the end, we don't want a closet full of gear that's broken. Even more so, we don't want landfills full of gear that's broken. How am I at this? I'm not going to sit here and stand on some high horse and say that I'm perfect at answering all these questions every time. No, of course not. I buy junk all the time. I have drawers, I have cupboards, I have boxes of stuff that I regret buying, or stuff that I thought was going to change my career. And there's plenty of times that even when I answer these questions and I go through them and ask myself, like, oh, that is, like, I'm lying to myself all the time just so that I can feel okay buying this new toy. And sometimes those have worked out and they've made a big difference and made me a better photographer, and a lot of times they haven't. But by having these questions in my back pocket, being able to time and time come back to those and say, is this thing solving a problem I already have? Is this going to make me more money? And how can I only buy this once? Does really help me take things back out of my Amazon cart a lot more often than I would have otherwise. And I hope those are tools that you can take and can help you make good decisions about the tools that you choose to put into your tool belt. If there's any other questions you'd like to ask yourself when you're buying things, or just thoughts on this in general, feel free to put those down in the comments below, and I'd love to have a conversation about how we can be intelligent in stewarding the tools that we have and the resources that we have, both in our own financial resources, but also making sure that we're utilizing the best tools that we can to their best abilities at the best times. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.